Hi, I'm Guenther Steiner. Today I will be talking about the amazing logistics of Formula One. In 2025, Formula One features races across 5 different continents and drivers will rack up over 120,000 kilometers of travel across the season. But unlike some other sports, traveling for F1 isn't just about the drivers getting on planes. Formula One estimates that it carries 1,200 tons of equipment around the world for each race. It's a huge logistical challenge. So how do they do it? Well, the process begins 18 months in advance when teams begin working with F1's logistical partner DHL to form a plan. Races are split into European and Flyaway races, and it's probably easier to understand the logistics by looking at this separately. European races take place in Europe and Flyaway races take place across the rest of the globe. At the start of the season, DHL will ship freight containing non-critical race items like jacks, trolleys and hospitality items from the UK to the first European race venue of the season. If we look at the 2025 season, for example, that's Emilia-Romagna. From there, because European race venues are so close together, teams will then drive their equipment from one race to another in lorries rather than by air or sea in order to save money. These lorries carry everything from disassembled car parts to the team's individually sponsored cutlery. The European races are often 2 weeks apart, but it is the races on back-to-back weekends that provide the biggest logistical task. For example, if you look at the 2025 calendar again, there are just 5 days between when the Monaco Grand Prix weekend ends and the Spanish Grand Prix weekend begins, nearly 700 miles away. To make this happen, each team's logistics manager will make a teardown plan on the Thursday before the race weekend to decide the order in which items are disassembled and where each piece will go. The process then starts as soon as the race begins on Sunday morning, before the race has even started, when non-essential things that won't be used in the race, like spare engines or kitchen equipment, are packed up. Then, after the race, teams will pack up the garage and other structures while the trophy presentations are going on. The cars are then disassembled and packed up onto the lorries once they have been through FIA inspections, and in total the entire race is usually packed up within 4 hours. The lorries then travel straight to the next race venue. To make sure they get there as quickly as possible, each truck will have at least 2 drivers who drive in shifts to ensure that the only stops are for fuel. This means that by Monday afternoon, the lorries are already at the next race. After they arrive, they are unpacked and the setting up process begins again. Because of the cost saved at European races, teams will also bring pop-up buildings known as motorhomes to European races. This serves as our headquarters for the race weekend and hosts everything from hospitality events to driver meetings, which can get a bit heated. This takes a couple of days to put together, meaning that everything is usually fully set up by Thursday. Flyaway races are even more complicated. Like with the European races, they are generally 2 weeks apart, but on occasions they are also held on back-to-back weekends too. Now, you might look at the F1 calendar and think, how do teams get all their non-critical equipment over 8,000 miles from Las Vegas to Qatar in the space of 6 days, despite an 18-hour flight and losing 11 hours to time difference? Well, the answer is they don't. You see, in January, as well as the European ship, DHL sends out 4 further ships from the UK containing identical, non-essential freight to the first Flyaway race venues of the season. From there, the kit will travel by sea in leapfrog pattern to other Flyaway venues in need of equipment. For example, in 2019, the 4 ships set sail to Australia, Bahrain, China and Azerbaijan. The set that built the Australian Grand Prix then travelled on to Canada before going to Singapore and Brazil, while the other sets followed different pre-planned routes to ensure that no venue went without equipment. It's done this way rather than having everything transported by plane because it's cheaper. But there are of course critical items that have to be flown to each race. F1 will charter up to 9 planes that teams pay for themselves. Again, teams begin packing on the morning of the race, but this time they pack equipment into pallets that have been specially designed to maximize the space of the plane. The first plane that takes off has enough space for 30 pallets, meaning that each of the 10 teams gets 3 pallets as their priority freight. That plane usually takes off 12 hours after the checkered flag, so the priority freight is usually at the next Flyaway race by Monday evening. Everything must then clear customs, and once that is done, it can be driven to the racetrack. The cars are taken apart with the engine, gearbox, mirrors, wings, and suspension parts all being loaded into customized cargo containers that are all flown to the next race. To ensure fairness, teams can only begin reassembling the cars once every team has every car part that has been flown over. The plans start from 18 months out for a reason, and while the logistics of Formula One will never get the limelight, their efficiency has been the lifeblood of the sport for 75 years.
If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic is home to the best team of sports writers, reporters, and analysts in the world, offering exclusive stories and unrivaled insight. You can try The Athletic for free for 30 days by clicking the link in the description.